Hi, everybody. It's Linda. I'm starting a little early. Our guy isn't here yet. He'll be here in 10 minutes. So I thought when I saw y'all, I thought, let me go in and say hi. We could chit chat before he gets here. So listen, I'm disappointed. The rapture hasn't happened. I got my new JCPenney underwears going and nothing. Got my dogs on their leashes, rest to go. Hi, everyone. I'm like, what the heck? By the way, let me tell you something really quick. I get a bad feeling about Trump trying to shut down the government. He canceled his meeting with the Democrats. They were supposed to have, I think, on Thursday. Look at that. Got my makeup going. You know what I'm saying? He wants to shut it down, but everybody's going to blame him. Oh my God, Sandy. Thank you, honey. Oh my God, Quitty. Bye. That UN speech, it was so embarrassing. It couldn't pronounce acetaminophen. And that whole acetaminophen, they're going to sue him, by the way. They don't go by real scientific. They're just talking out their rear. And then Dr. Oz went up there and recommended some sort of vitamin or something. Guess who sells it? He does. Hi, Hawaii. The UN speech was horrible. He's just horrible. Yeah, he's going to send troops to St. Louis, but it's going to be a nothing burger. Everything he's doing lately is going to be a nothing burger. I went ahead and turned on Nicole Wallace. His numbers are dropping so bad. Stock market dropped a little bit today. At least it wasn't going up. And when this shutdown happens, this is going to be the real test. This is going to be the real test. I saw that, Valeria. Oh my God, did you guys see that? I'm sure if you Google, you can find it. Him and his wife went up to the escalator, which takes them up, right? As soon as she got there and he was behind her, it stopped. The escalator stopped working. Did they do that, or was that God talking? You ain't going up. You's going down. Hi, Julie and Dennis. So I was busting I laughed so hard, and then they had to walk up. I'm surprised he was able to walk up. So I was just coming up. Charles will be here in a minute, but I just couldn't wait to tell you all that I guess the rapture ain't happening. I'm just like looking at my watch. Got my double wide JCPenney's going. Hi, Bob. Hi, peace to all. Personal transformation. Nancy's broken angel. Maria. Oh, look at 1,300 in the room. Hi, it's in the music. Blazing. Tracy, Connie, Skip Bird, Lisa. Hi, Sherry. Listen up. This weekend, keep an open eye if you can. I'll do just regular subscribers where we'll pick 2 free winners. But this will be for November. And then I'll pick 2 members, 2 free reads. So it'll be this weekend. It'll be very short. Come on in. Let's pick 2 winners and go. Hi, Robert. Hi, Carol, Terry. Jeanette, S. Parrott. Yeah, I'm so excited he made such an ass. You know they're talking trash about Trump right now. Hey, Katie's Dream. Lulu's doing great. Uh, they're talking trash internationally about him now. I don't know that, Cat. That's weird. Did you see my video that I did on Tim Walz? I was working for and Kamala, and Tim Walz was there. And then the numbers came in, and she lost, but Walz won. And I know that isn't how it works, but this was a dream. And I remember thinking, wow, who knew Tim Walz is winning as president? Girl, I got my double Y's up to the end. You know what my brother used to say? They turned off the escalator and the teleprompter. Thank you, Captain. My brother used to say, you know, you wear your skivvies, your underwears. And then what you do is you turn them inside out when they get dirty. He said, when you know to wash your skivvies is when it sticks to the wall. My brother was crazy. Thank you, Mary. I know, Millie. I was all dressed, rest to go. Oh, I know. I'm not going to be able to stay up, but I'm taping it. And they're saying, oh, Sinclair isn't going to be showing. Go look for the list of where Sinclair owns the media. And it's like not Burbank, Bakersfield, and a couple other places out in the boondocks. Nobody cares. Hi, Kevin. Oh, the Democrats will win another House race tonight to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files. Thank you, Kevin. What happened with Schumer and Hakeem? Yeah, he canceled it. He canceled the meeting. He don't want to talk to them because he plans on shutting it down. But that's sort of stupid because then when they shut it down, then they're going to say, what do you mean it was a Democrat? They tried to meet with you and you canceled them out. I know that escalator was beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't show Seattle on the listing. Interesting. But listen, Scarlett, or whoever wrote me that, Jenny, you could probably catch them on YouTube. I thought my phone was going on. Tucson, Arizona. Thank you. My friends, Julie and Dennis, I'm going to go see the Grand Canyon. I'm going up there in October. It's like 104 here right now, you guys. Even my dogs are running inside like, oh, hell no, Biosh. Oh, he's here. Yay. There he is.
Hello. I was told 3:30. I was told at the half-hour mark.
Yes, and you were right. But I came on here kind of because you said about 10 minutes was a little bit earlier. Yeah. And I thought, oh, I've seen all my peoples here. And I said, let me just go on and say hi. So we knew you were coming later.
Okay, good.
We're just gossiping.
Yeah, I didn't want anyone to be waiting around. I figured.
No. They knew you were coming. They just we was all gossiping. But and we're glad to see you, Sean. Thank you for coming.
It's good to be seen.
You're a little bit like you're in a fog or something.
It's the lighting I've got today. It's just a little bit off.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we're glad you're here. We were just laughing about what happened where Trump was speaking and the escalator just shut down. Did you see that? Him and his wife went up to the escalator and everybody else had gone up and down. And as soon as they reached it, it stopped. They had to walk up.
Well, good. You need the exercise. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's been really interesting. It's been a lot of roosters coming home to, you know, coming home for Trump recently. I've actually got a ton of polling data that just came out. He's underwater everywhere except he's slightly above water on immigration still.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Except
people
when they
like,
talk about how he's doing it, then he's underwater again.
okay.
Like
Yeah,
everyone agrees that something needs to be done.
right. A lot of these guys remember you, but can you just give us a background for those who don't
Sure.
know who you are?
So I've been working in political campaigns since 1998. I was the data director for Obama at Obama Dallas in Northeast Texas in 0708. That's probably the biggest thing anyone's probably heard of that I've done. Although my team was, I was the data director for a large group that worked in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race earlier this year. Specifically, we prototyped a field program that we were able to operate independently of the rest of the programs for Green Bay, where we saw a 16-point increase in voter participation based on the people that our team spoke with. The firm I belong to is called the Broadway Group, and we specialize in field and person-to-person contact for campaigns. We've had a lot of success. We in 22 we were well in 22 we were in Florida where everyone got annihilated. In 23 we're in Virginia where we flipped the state house. In 24 we were in Wisconsin where we only lost Wisconsin by half a point. And from what we learned about, my team learned about Wisconsin, we were able to annihilate Elon and Trump and the Republican Party in Wisconsin in the April election, where they had governor level turnout for a Supreme Court race. Just to give you guys context, normally they call that race at around 12, almost 1 in the morning. They called that race at 8:30 in the evening.
That was a wonderful news. That was
It was a
wonderful.
blowout. I mean, it wasn't even close.
But that pissed him off.
Oh, well, I was literally 60 feet away from where, just outside from where Elon was handing out $1 million checks. Oh yeah. We definitely, Elon doesn't know it, but my team is living rent free in his brain.
Yeah, because he put out so much money to try to get everybody to vote.
He spent so much money. And and we saw his field program out there, and like, all right, just to give you an idea, if you add up like the 4 core members of our team that's part of Broadway Group, and we have a 5th that's an affiliate. If you add us all together, we have over 100 years of field program experience. Between me and the founder, Ricky, between just me and him, we have over 50 years. Wow. And so we can go in and look at a field program. And just for everyone's, that's where people knock on doors and ask questions and talk to people. We can go into these communities, and because of the type of questions and type of training, and we're heavy on training for our team, we're small, large impact programming, all paid canvassing. Volunteerism's great, but I think it's a different kind of canvas than paid field programs, and they do totally different things. So it's like using a screwdriver where a hammer's needed. It doesn't make any sense. So when I talk about field program, I'm talking about paid canvassers. And a lot of people are like, oh, if they're paid, do they care? Most important thing about paid canvassing is the quality assurance that we can give. Is it's because we can actually fire people, whereas volunteers you can't fire. So you can have really bad canvassers out there that are volunteers that have very limited training and very limited experience, and they're not doing a very good job. Whereas paid canvassing, you can rectify all those problems. Ooh, all right.
Thank you, Water Lily. Just showing people how to connect to you.
Oh yeah, that's my YouTube. It's CLSB Politics. I'm also on Substack at CLSB Politics, depending on where you get your information. You can get on both of those. They both post the same videos. Yep. And so what's really been so I've been kind of in research mode. I haven't really posted much in the last month or two. Well, really about a month, because I have been in research mode. This is the time of year when our firm gets a ton of phone calls asking us to take a look at certain races. So I have been mentally in Colorado, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Florida, Texas. I've been across the country in my brain.
Yeah.
Breaking down campaigns, looking at data, and doing all that fun stuff. And what I'll do over time is I will change. I will go in and I will turn those into shows. So if you go back in my YouTube channel, you'll see me. There's actually a file called Adventures in Wisconsin, which is where when I was posting shows from the 2024 and Supreme Court cycle when my team was up there. I've also got a thing, All Things Texas. So if there are any Texans on this watching this, and you're like, what's standing in the way of turning Texas blue? I literally break it down for you.
Really?
In detail. Like the biggest problem with Texas, and I think there's a lot of change happening right now in the Texas Democratic Party, which is brilliant. We've got a new state chair who is a millennial. He's also run for office and held office before. But he's just got fresh eyes. He's dug the party out of debt. So right now, for the first time in my knowledge, there's a state chair that's younger than me, and I have a state party that's not in debt. And I know for a fact I've never been able to say that before. So he's doing a great job, and he's got a good team around him. We've got, and he understands what I'm about to tell everyone.
Okay.
In order to win Texas, you have to play in 19 counties. Just to give you an idea, a statewide field program, you got to knock on 4 million doors.
Jesus.
Because Texas is just so big. We have more registered voters in Harris County, where Houston is, than most states.
Damn.
Yeah. There are 30 states with fewer registered voters than that one of those 19 counties you got to canvass in.
How did we lose by? How much did we lose by this last big event?
We're talking about with Trump and Harris? Yeah. Couple points. Effectively, Trump got about just a little bit more, but about the same number of votes as he got against Biden. But because we didn't go through a primary process, and the economy was not doing great. If you are under the age of 40, really under the age of 30, it gets really bad. And the fact that the party didn't acknowledge that fact.
Yeah.
Plus, there was no primary, so no one had buy-in. I always tell people there's a lot of conspiracy stuff going around about Elon satellites changing votes and machines. None of that happened. There was one report that got me a little bit excited about that, but then when I researched it, it was based on a what if statement in a footnote of a different paper. It wasn't even based on any hard math or facts or anything.
Going on about they're investigating about changing votes.
It wasn't statistically relevant. I mean, if it did happen, it wasn't anything real. It was more of a computer glitch than anything
else. Don't believe your lying eyes. We all saw her events. They were packed to the gills. Trump, in the meantime,
Bernie packs stadiums too, and he's never gotten through a primary.
Okay.
A national primary. I mean, packing stadiums is great. So one of the things we did in 2008 with Obama is we weaponized those stadiums that we packed. We turned those into canvassers. Obama was the last time I operated a volunteer-driven field program that I thought actually moved needles, won races in any real form or fashion. Because, I mean, to be honest, it was the largest volunteer-driven field program in the history of Dallas County. That's a top 10 city.
Did Obama win Texas? I don't remember.
Huh?
Did Obama win Texas?
He did not. But he only lost it by a couple points, which he should have lost it by 20. So that was our victory. But more importantly, we energized the primary. Like he won, like he either tied or won the cities. Hillary won the rural parts and smaller towns, which, is great, except for the fact that the Democratic votes in the cities. But I went and did, back in the day, you could get the voter reg for like Dallas County for like $20. Yeah. And it would give you voter history that went back to the 70s. So what I did was I isolated, this is part of what I do for a living. I isolated the active voters that were existing in 2000. When did I do that research? It was in February 2009. I isolated everyone who was still on the voter rolls that had voted in any primary going all the way back, as far back as I could go, which I think was 1978.
Yeah.
And prior to the 2008 March 4th primary in Dallas, only 45,000 people had ever bothered to vote in a primary in Dallas County. After that March 4th primary, it was over 300,000. Had the Democratic Party in Dallas County gone after just the primary voters that had voted in the 2008 primary for the general election in 2010, we wouldn't have lost any state house seats in Dallas County.
Wow.
Yeah, but they didn't.
So what's the pulse right
now?
Huh? What's the pulse right now?
I thought you would ask that. So I actually have a folder on that real quick. I just want to run through some real quick numbers for you because they're right in here. So what it looks like to me is that what we've got is, oh, that's where I put them. Sorry. My computer's a little full. I put them on my phone where I'd easily be able to read them. There it is. And there they are. Yay. Right. 3 seconds, people. Sorry. Yeah, I need screenshots. Yeah. So right now it looks like he's underwater with just about every group. There it is. Thank you. I knew it was around here. So to give you an idea, this was a Pew Research Center poll. So Democrats lead. This is among U.S. adults, 47 to 42 on the U.S. House generic ballot. So the Democrats are actually 5 points ahead of the Republicans. When you want to look at like the generic congressional, no gerrymandering, no nothing. And there's an 11% undecided, which is actually an interesting number to me because the undecideds tend to be more than 11% in these. They're usually around 18%. Yeah. So what you have is a large swing to the left of the undecideds, and undecideds have no real party affiliation. They are fully based on economic issues. So they don't, I hate to say it, but they are not their brother's keeper. They do not care about their fellow man all that much. They're more interested in the nuts and bolts of the country and the economy. And, and I've talked to a lot of independent voters, and I apologize if there's some out there I'm about to offend, but they're like, yeah, we'll let the hippies take care of everyone. We got work to do. That's kind of the mentality of the independent voter. They generally don't vote in primaries, although they've started to vote in primaries. Yeah. Because of just the Republican Party's just the level of crazy. We saw that in the U.S. Senate races in the midterms last cycle, where you saw all of these. Well, I'm sorry, in the presidential cycle, all those Senate races that were put up by those crazy Republicans, some of them which were brilliant football players, but were just but Dr. Oz and all those guys. Well, they didn't win their Senate seats because the independent vote was like, hell no. and they went and voted in the general in those off presidential cycles, which they rarely do. And they voted heavy Democrat. That's why we saw that. That's why we saw very little coattails for Trump. You know, they were lucky to hold on to what they did.
Right.
As far as right versus wrong track, 28% of U.S. adults say the country's on the right track. That's not even 1 in 3. While 60%, which is effectively 2 out of every 3, say that it's on the wrong track, and 12% don't know. And pessimism is slightly higher than in August. It was it went up about 20 points since August. So a lot of people aren't really optimistic, to put it mildly. As far as Trump's overall job approval rating goes, we're looking at a 42% approval rating and a 55% disapproval. That's a net of negative 13. He's underwater 13 points.
Wow.
What's ironic, and I actually had to look this up, this isn't as bad as Trump's been. In his previous administration, of course, further in, like year 2, year 3 of his first administration, he got into the mid 30s. So this isn't even the bottom. 42 is not even the bottom for Trump, but it's getting there.
I don't know. He was did a speech today that could pretty much shut him down. Somebody just said
no, he's definitely down. But I mean, he's been worse.
Your name's not Charles. It's Charles, right? Charles Sean.
Yeah, Charles. Well, Charles is my first name, but I go by Sean.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my middle name. Anyway. Okay. So as the only thing he's positive on at plus 8 points is border security. But when you dig down and they start asking other questions, they really hate how he's doing it. So 73% of adults said that law enforcement should not be able to detain people based on their race. So that gives me hope for America, except for that 37% who said, I guess that's okay. We'll call that the MAGA days.
That they can stop people if they're Hispanic or the color of their skin.
73% of all adults in this country say that is no mas, you know what I mean? So no good. And anyway, and that also says that 73% of Americans polled in this poll disagree with where the Supreme Court is. 73%. That's really high.
Yeah, their numbers are low.
And just 19% of everyone polled say those are sufficient factors, and that that race is a sufficient factor, and that the police should also need to provide a probable cause for believing someone is in this country illegally. So 19%, say that they should have probable cause, but race can be used as a targeting profile. So that's 1 in 5 Americans, which is kind of sad to me. And voters opposed Trump's proposal to deploy the National Guard troops to cities to assist in ICE enforcement operations. So 51% opposed, 37% are for. And then you have a chunk in there that don't know or don't care. Those are the independents. Like I said, they're really most interested in the economic issues. And that's why you don't see those guys even weighing in.
Oh, no, I know a lot of independents that I don't put them all.
Well, no, they're changing because they realized that if you shut down the border and you don't have any legal immigration, there's no one to operate, it's a huge resource for the agriculture industry in this country, which is in part a huge industry to this country, it being the breadbasket of the world. So, and the other one, by the way, the other global breadbasket in this planet is Ukraine. So they're having their own problems. So this is all bad. As far as
does he say anything about tariffs?
Yeah, we've got some tariffs here. When you look at the economy, so you're looking at here, let me find it real quick. It's down here. His tariffs are unpopular, whereas 58% approve, 58% disapprove of his tariffs and 34% approve of them. When forced to consider trade-offs, 54% said that higher prices aren't worth alleged job protection, which is a really interesting factor. And 1 in 3 said, yes, I'm willing to pay a higher price if we protect jobs. So 1 in 3 people are down for that. And these are also basically the same numbers they saw in August. So now we've got 2 months of almost 2 out of every 3 Americans saying that these higher prices are not worth job protections, which is kind of interesting. And then as far as the government funding, because everyone's talking about the government shutdown, and I fully expect there to be a government shutdown at the end of this month. If a federal shutdown occurs, 34% say they would blame Republicans, 23% say they would blame Democrats, and 34% said they blame both. So that's kind of
he canceled his meeting with the bigwigs and the Democrat because he totally plans on shutting it down and blaming the Democrats.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. There's also one in that scenario where the Democrats withhold votes over healthcare funding. More voters will blame Republicans than Democrats. That was kind of the final finding there. So all the math says, except for border security, all the math is going against Trump right now, as far as that poll goes. And that poll is actually very consistent with a bunch of other polling that's out there. So it's starting to look like that's pretty real.
And how about pay? If we shut down, do the Border Patrol still get paid?
And it depends how they're paid. If there's different buckets of money that are flowing into that. So yeah, it's a real.
I know the military won't get paid, and I know they wouldn't be happy about having to go places.
Therefore, the National Guard wouldn't get paid because they're out of that bucket. Yeah. Also, Social Security checks wouldn't be cut because the people who cut those checks.
The last shutdown, and that Social Security checks weren't affected.
It's because they made a cutout for that.
So they will be cut.
They have the option. I'm not sure. In my opinion, there are a lot of people who voted for Trump or didn't vote who would normally vote, which, by the way, was a vote for Trump. If you wash your hands of all of this, you're still in the same boat with the rest of us. Now you don't even know who's piloting the boat. That's not a much better situation. Yeah. So those that washed their hands and walked away from the Democratic Party, and I have a couple of very close friends that did that. They're in a lot of trouble right now. And I saw a really interesting article about a bunch of farmers in Arkansas who are sitting in this big room going, we ain't got no one to sell our soybeans to because our number one market was China, and they're not buying it.
Yeah, most countries.
Now what? Yeah. So is Trump going to come save us? Why do you need saving? You shouldn't even need saving.
You don't get your Social Security check. Tell me what's the difference from the last shutdown to this shutdown? Why would
I'll tell you, the difference is the big beautiful bill. Now, if you go to my channel, those of you listening, I do a show about what to expect in healthcare cutbacks and what those cutbacks are going to do. So I'm sure some of your listeners saw that the Republicans in a gracious will granted $50 billion, which sounds like a lot of money, to rural hospitals. Well, they took $250 billion. And most of those rural hospitals, and I have all the data on this. Like, for example, do you know why Rand Paul voted against it? Because in his state, 37 rural hospitals are going to shut down.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mitch McConnell wasn't for it because 27 rural hospitals in his state are going to shut down. What I can't figure out is Johnson, the speaker, how he voted for that piece of crap. Excuse my French.
Oh, they got it
because he's got 28 rural hospitals that are going to shut down. Where is the Republican vote in rural America?
I know.
So they're going to shut down these hospitals are going to shut down. I mean, and I have their profit margins, how much they get from the government, how much they make people walking in. And what you have to understand, they share personnel. So you've got hospitals that are paying a doctor from like 2 different hospitals to combine into one salary. If one of those hospitals goes down, that other doctor goes.
Okay.
Because you're going to make half what you were making? No.
So Jane just said, no, Social Security checks will continue to be issued during a government shutdown due to dedicated funding sources that are not affected by the budget process.
So, okay. I mean, I don't believe.
Guys, I'll let you know, but I don't want.
No, I know, and that's normal. I agree with that's normal. That's what normally happens.
Yeah.
But but that would be when, the Social Security office is probably fully manned, right?
Oh, terrible, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what people are going to find is that that Doge cutbacks and stuff, like, God help us if we get hit by a hurricane. There's no more FEMA. FEMA's a skeleton of what it used to be. And I've lived through 13 typhoons and an 8.2 earthquake. And I'm telling you, FEMA does a very good job. But now there's no more FEMA.
So I'm going to tell you, I just did a search on it. Social Security checks, direct deposits, benefit payments continue during the shutdown.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not convinced they're going to. I'm convinced they will.
Because the last one.
No, because I think normally in a normal government operating, yeah, sure. Nothing's normal right now.
Yeah.
You can't take anything for granted.
Well,
there's nothing to pay.
Just told Newsom, $2 billion away from your the big train that we're supposed to do.
Oh, the high-speed rail? Yeah.
I don't know why Governor Newsom, he threatened it. They need to just hold.
It takes 15 years to build one of those. In 3 years, Trump's gone. Trump doesn't have anything really to say about that.
I'm not worried about that.
It's a 20-year project. Texas, move this money. Okay, we'll just keep planning then.
Texas is the higher welfare state that takes money from everyone else. And we're paying out $83 billion. And what we need to do is hold that money and not give it to Trump. Then let him talk trash.
Well, the Republicans have been running this state into the ground for 40 years. The only reason Texas isn't a disaster, any more of a disaster than it is, even though it's ranked on the lowest in education, lowest in healthcare, lowest in mortality rate for women, is because we pull money out of the ground, literally. Without that, Texas is a third world state, third world country.
How is that guy? Not that you even know the governor of Texas. How's he polling?
Hot Wheels generally polls just about well enough to win election. You understand, even during the Great Recession, the Texas economy was one of the stronger economies in the country. Texas pulls money out of the ground. We have more military bases than any other state, which means we have more of the federal money in this state than any other state. We have a lot of things that are kind of economic stalwarts that just keep back the real pain.
Like Texas was the oil, a lot of oil.
We're pulling money out of the ground. It's fracking, really. It's LNG that's been like the revolution economy in Texas. Oil's there too, but LNG is where it's all at. Yeah. That's what, and I'll tell you, you've got Texas is a weird state where God help the United States if Texas has a major economic downturn.
Really?
Because they've never had one, not a real one, not probably since the 80s have they had a real one. And like we've had some, like when we get a cold, the rest of the United States has got Ebola.
Yeah.
And if Texas ever gets Ebola, like economically speaking, yeah, it's going to be bad.
I'm looking forward to that Hot Wheels getting out of there. He's a horrible.
Yeah, no. Well, we don't have any term limits in governor. Also, the governor can raise as much money as they want from any one individual. What people forget about Texas is that This is where Republicans prototype. This is where Citizens United was prototyped. I mean, Texas is where the Republicans prototype all of their terrible programs that they implement nationally. And it's implemented by individuals who can raise infinite amounts of money. Like, it is legal to give a state house rep or one of our state house reps $1 million as long as he files it. Jeez. Totally legal. No, the whole legislature is for sale. The state house, the state senate, governor, and people don't even realize our governor is actually not very powerful. In fact, it's one of the weaker executive level governors in the country. The most two powerful elected officials in this state, in Texas, is the railroad commissioner, because it's not a railroad commissioner. It'd be better called the oil commissioner.
Okay.
And the lieutenant governor. Those are the two most powerful, and I think in that order, if you ask me personally, that order. But who do we talk about? Hot Wheels. Useless.
Some pharmaceutical is getting ready to build a big factory in Texas. 5,000 people will be hired. So they still go to Texas. Well, I know that you can get a cheaper real estate in Texas.
Well, there's just a lot of it. I mean, only thing you're displacing in Texas is rattlesnakes, mostly.
But let me tell you, I heard that Florida is just falling apart.
Well, Florida. So I was in Florida in 22, and I do a lot of data work, obviously. So I'm auditing and processing all of the. We knocked on over 1 million doors in Florida. Just my group. A group I was working with. And so I would post up and find a restaurant, preferably I would just sit at the bar where they've got plugs where you can plug your computer in. And I would sit there and I'd work, and people always, sit up next to me, and people start chatting and talking. And I'm a bit of a ADHD. I usually have my headphones in so that way I can, focus. But when I don't have them in, I'm doing my work and listening to every conversation around me. And this one guy, and I literally stopped and I looked over and I talked to him, because he literally told me that his insurance per month was over $3,000.
Oh yeah,
which
it's terrible.
Which he said was double his mortgage.
I pay $800 a month for my insurance here in California.
Oh, I mean, it's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, it's.
No, it's
back in the old days. Your property tax and your insurance was cheap.
Oh, it was nothing. Yeah, no, and and not to mention housing is ridiculous. I tried to explain to my grandparents when I was putting my way through college, because they couldn't understand how I could have two jobs and not, and I'm paying for my own my school. I didn't take out any loans. I bought a used car every 5 months, it felt like, because I was paying tuition. And they couldn't understand what the problem was. And I explained, I was like, Grandpa, when you were my age, 15% of your entire budget went to housing. Mine's is like 80.
Yeah.
And I've been eating ramen for the last decade.
$50 a month for a $13,000 house.
I might be the last kid. I'm probably the last kid who ever worked his way through college. I barely did it. I lived in a Corolla for 2 semesters to do it. So, I mean, yeah.
Good for you.
There's no way the kids today can do it. And get a house and have a family. That's not a thing.
It's terrible. That's why.
Which is also the reason that you got all these under 30s voting for the opposition party. They're not even voting for Republicans when they voted in this last cycle. They're just voting against whoever was in power because there's nothing for them. That's why you saw the way the race is going in New York.
I mean,
what did you say? Housing, food, childcare.
My son's an engineer, and he makes good money for the water district, and he could never afford a house at this point. Hey, listen, here's a question.
Okay.
If you can answer it, cool. If you can't, how was Charlie Kirk's aftermath change MAGA polling for Trump?
Yeah, as in it's so, well, I just said it went from August to today, and it's only gotten worse. It hasn't really gotten any better. It's been pretty flat.
That's good news, Ness.
Well, and actually, I just posted a video about violence in our country, specifically political violence.
Yeah.
And if you watch the news, you would think we are on the edge of civil war, but in
I don't
fact,
think war.
we're not. We're super not. Ironically, the year after, well, 2 years after I graduated from high school was the worst it ever got. People forget Oklahoma City. People forget Waco. You know, people forget 9/11. 9/11, I think how people forgot. I think that reset everyone's brains.
Yeah.
But the 90s were nuts. And I was on the other side of the planet on the island of Guam trying to explain Waco to people on Guam. Like,
well, let me
why
tell
are
you,
these Branch Davidians being attacked by the ATF? I'm like, probably because they have tons of guns illegally.
Yeah. Well, all this heartache, all this stuff. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you believe in the realm, but when they talk to me, and I've been scared sometimes, they've always told me there's more good people than there are bad.
Oh, I think that polling said there's more good people than bad. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't, the math says that. So I agree. Yeah. 100%.
So that makes my heart feel better.
And I'll be honest, 30 years plus working in campaigns, I've seen that personally. So yeah. No, I get it, you know, and I mean, I saw it in stereo THX surround sound when I was in 2008 in Obama's campaign. People came out of the woodwork. Of course, we had 07's financial crisis as a driving force.
Yeah. He was a good president for 8 years. But listen, real quick, he was a good president for 8 years.
He was all right.
Listen, real quick, I want to ask you something, and this will have to be the last question because I got another show to do. What's this gerrymandering, this whole Texas thing?
Okay, so I can speak directly to that because I have reviewed all the data. Okay. So just to give the idea, Texas was already gerrymandered. All right, so effectively 2.4 million registered voters were already disenfranchised in Texas before this most recent round of gerrymandering. Now it's up to almost 4 million. The voters who just really have no more vote. Their vote doesn't actually matter anymore.
So we just marked
4 million registered voters. Keep in mind, you can add Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin together. That's 4 million registered voters.
Wow.
They've disenfranchised multiple states worth of voters in Texas.
So, we're going to pass Proposition 50 in California and match them. But can more people, I don't understand about the gerrymandering. So people can come out to vote. And what if you even are a Republican, but you don't want a Republican, you vote for someone else?
Then great. But the problem is they don't do that.
Oh, I wish they did.
I did too, believe me. I spent a huge chunk of my career trying to get that to happen. They don't, man. So you understand. It goes back to Karl Rove, actually. One of my favorite political photos of all time was Karl Rove and two other gentlemen standing in front of reel-to-reel hard drives in the 70s. Remember, you see them in the old movies sometimes? Those are the hard drives, okay? There was this software called Lotus. And Lotus was like the great-great-grandfather of Excel. And what they did with Lotus is they took the entire voter reg of Texas. This is 1970. I think they did it in 78 or 79. And then they took all the membership lists from every evangelical church in Texas, and they matched them up to see who was registered and who wasn't. And then they registered them all to vote. Texas is blue in 18 months. Texas goes from blue to red in 18 months.
Yeah.
Because they said, because what happened in 77? Roe versus Wade. Now Democrats kill and eat babies. That's what they would tell all.
It's really sad because Republicans can't seem to do anything unless they cheat.
Well, Republicans can't govern. We've only had government shutdowns. The 9 out of the 10 last major economic recessions happened under a Republican administration. 9 of the last 10, and I'm counting Carter's in there under Carter, which was more of an oil logistics problem in Iran than it was anything else. And that was mostly caused by the CIA. So I'm just giving them Carter as a freebie. And that's the one in the 9, in the 10. But the other 9 all happened under Republicans.
Yeah.
You can go look that up. In fact, you can look up what happened after 1982 when the Republicans, because of Karl Rove and merging all that data together and identifying all the evangelicals who weren't voting and got them to vote, changed the script in America. Okay. And they said, if you pray hard enough, you'll be wealthy. In the meantime, how about we take all this money and give it to the uber wealthy? That's why in 1982, you see a split where the top 1% start making money and everyone else is down here. 1982 is where that split happened. And every economic problem we've had since then, generationally speaking, for Gen X and everyone that's come after us, you can go back to 1982.
Okay.
That's when it happened.
That's cool. So listen, we'll have to have you back, my friend. Unfortunately, my Zoom is reminding me I have another person.
No problem. Well, it's really great to see you, Linda. It's been a minute. Well, now that we're back in the mix, we'll make this a regular thing.
Keep us updated.
We'll do.
Some people didn't like what you had to say, but we all have to listen to both sides.
They're welcome to go to my channel and talk to me about it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, honey. You take care.
No problem.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ness.
Thank you, everybody.
And who else? There were some people who helped here. Thank you, you guys. Jane, Ness, Water Lily. We'll talk more. I'm going to be doing this weekend. I'm going to do some live events. You can ask more questions, but unfortunately I have to go because I have a little short video I'm doing to help Tana out. So that will be taped. Okay. Love you all, you guys. Cheers.